Did you know that if we speak just like everybody else, then our communication becomes average? Hello, happy Tuesday. This is Darren Roberts. Welcome to the Tuesday Tickle and Tick. Today, let's get our communication above average. Now, as you probably know from the Tuesday Tickle and Tick, 99% of my content is what tickles my fancy with business development, leadership and communications, and occasionally what ticks me off. Well, today I'm going to feel cleansed by the end of this because I'm having a bit of a rant about what ticks me off with communication. It popped up on my social media memories just recently that it's been just over 5 years since myself and my family were on a TV game show called Family Feud. And on night one of recording Family Feud, the host Grant Denyer and myself had a bit of on-air banter about what words or phrases are frustrating or annoying or overused. Things like, yeah, nah. Things like, to be honest. And things like, you know what I mean? And we had a bit of, as I said, banter. It was a bit of fun. I'll see if I can get the link and share that with you. But just over 5 years on, those words and phrases are being used more than they were before, and there's some new ones that are being used. And what it is doing is detracting from the value and the quality of our messaging and our communication. As I said, if we sound like everybody else, then our communication is average. So today's goal is for us to take out some of that overused communication that doesn't make sense, so the quality of our communication is more valuable. We know from a face-to-face communication that 55% of the effectiveness of communication is non-verbal, so body language. 38% is our voice tonality, and just 7% is the words that we use. However, if we have a habit, a pause word, or annoying word, it distracts from the quality of the conversation, so it means our words become more and more important. In fact, I threw it out to my community yesterday and said, hey, tell me about a word or a phrase or an overused word that doesn't make sense, that annoys you or frustrates you. I'm going to give you 7 of my own, but before that, let me share with you what my community shared. Brooke and Laurie, you were frustrated with don't worry, the overuse of, hey, don't worry, don't worry. Ellen, annoyed you, the term my bad, as in my mistake, my bad, that's overused for you. Beck, I've heard this one recently as well. I think it's fairly new. Cash money. So I've heard it in things like radio competitions. You win $10,000 of cash money. Yeah, that's a bit of a new one. Kate, you're frustrated by from the get-go. We're going to get this done from the get-go. That annoys you. Graham, the word pivot. Yes, significantly overused. The word pivot, we know where that's come from over the last 3 or 4 years. Ryan, I totally agree with you. The word literally, followed by something that isn't literal, like, oh, literally, it's literally killing me. Totally agree, Ryan, that is frustrating. Scott, this is an interesting one. The incorrect use of the term dry reach when you say the correct term is dry retch. Is that right, Scott? Correct me if I'm wrong. Mel, you're frustrated with use. Love yous all. Mel, love yous. You're frustrated with that, I understand. Steve and Gerd, you're both frustrated with the overuse of like. Oh, like, I went here and like. Now, I've got 2 teenage kids in my house. Gerds, you've got teenagers in your house. Totally overused with that word like. And you're frustrated with 100%. Listen, you're on board with this marketing plan? Yeah, 100%. Overused, isn't it? Listen to the TV reality shows when they're interviewed, 100% is almost every 3rd or 4th response. Amy, you're frustrated with, it's all good. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Another one is, it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is. Yeah, we know it is what it is. Brendan, you're frustrated with, hey, thanks for reaching out. And finally, Bruno, you're frustrated. Hey, no worries, no worries, no worries. So just from a couple of posts on my network, they were some of the responses. So it shows that people are noticing, even if they're not telling you, they're noticing, and it's distracting from communication. All right, here are my top 7. I'm going to feel good after this, a bit of a vent, get it off my chest. Number 1, the overuse of, to be honest, or, hey, I'm not going to lie. We know that, again, almost every 3rd or 4th sentence, someone is saying, hey, listen, to be honest, Well, listen, I'm not going to lie. Hey, thanks so much for respecting me enough not to lie to me. Number 2, there's nothing worse than, or there's nothing better than such and such when that piece of information isn't that good. There's nothing worse than getting rained on the way to work. I think there might be. Oh, there's nothing better than a nice warm shower on a cold day. I think there might be something better or worse than both of those. Number 3, it's all about, or that's what it's all about. We hear this in business quite a bit. Listen, business success is all about conversion. Conversation, but then we need the leads. It's all about that lead generation. And we've got to have the right team. It's all about getting the right team on. It can't be all about multiple things. It's got to be all about one thing. Number 4. Now, this could be my own personal frustration. Maybe no one else is frustrated by this, but it's the term can't compare. Oh, tell me about this and this. Oh, listen, you can't compare that. It frustrates me because you can compare that. That's what a comparison is. One thing versus another. What is similar? What is different? What is the comparison? Number 5. As I said, number 4 might just be my problem. Number 5. I think this is a fairly recent one. The use of a number of without being specific. So sometimes you hear it in sport. Or, yeah, that team had a number of turnovers that quarter. Or, oh, listen, I've helped a number of people reach X, Y, and Z. A number could be 1, not a big deal, or 1 million, which is a big deal. Let's be specific with our language. Number 6, not to mention, or it goes without saying. And then you follow that with what you weren't going to mention or doesn't need to be said. Hey, listen, not to mention, blah, or it goes without saying, but blah. If there's a piece of information that doesn't need to be mentioned, don't mention it. Or if it does need to be mentioned, please don't introduce it with, hey, not to mention, or it goes without saying. Lucky last, number 7. Now, this is for those of us who are getting interviewed on podcasts, radio, whatever the case might be. Well, there's a saying, whatever the case might be. Great question. When the interviewer asks you a question and you respond with, hey, great question. I know it's a pause so you can think about what the answer is, but often it's not a great question you're responding to. Oh, how did you come into coaching people? Yeah, great question. Or how did you fly, but what route did you fly back from America when you were there? Oh yeah, great question. Let's hold that off and give enough respect to the interviewer that we say great question when they actually do ask a great question. So there's my 7 to add to what the rest of my community added. So my goal for today is to increase our communication by taking some of those things out. We know that when we communicate the same as everyone else, as I said at the start, our communication becomes average, which means we don't have as much value in our communication. Our message doesn't get through as much. But there is a time when you do need to use these words or these phrases, and that's when you're trying to build a connection with someone. So if you meet someone and you notice that they have a habit word or they have a phrase they keep repeating, then you can use it occasionally because that builds a connection. Now, the danger with these is that they're quite often autonomous in the sense that we don't know that we're saying them. So what I encourage you to do to help take them out is record yourself, record your audio, record a video, and then watch it back to notice what words am I overusing, what phrases don't make sense, what habit words do I have. I can go back and do the same with this video and determine that for myself as well. So I encourage you to do that. That's my challenge to you. Also, I want you to put in the comments, what are you going to focus on? What are the words you're going to focus on taking out of your communication to make your communication more valuable? And as a bit of fun, tag someone in the comments that you've noticed have a habit word or a phrase they overuse that you haven't said anything to, but this could be their little nudge to say, hey, listen, we notice it, and you might be able to improve your communication. So let's all focus on that. Let's raise our communication to be more valuable so that we break away from average and be well and truly above average. Thanks for your contribution. That was a bit of fun. I feel cleansed. Well done. We'll see you next time for the Tuesday Tickle and Tick.